This series of videos will help you prepare for the pre-calculus functions test by going through the 2.6 homework. So the first problem says let P xy be a point on the graph of y equals the square root of x. Express the distance from P to the point 2, 0 as a function of x. So the first thing I'm going to do is label the point 2, 0 as x1, y1. And then it says the distance d. So we're going to use the distance formula. So the distance formula is this. It's x2 minus x1 all squared plus y2 minus y1 all squared. Now this is really just an application of the Pythagorean theorem. So we have x1 and y1, but where are we going to get x2 and y2? Well, we're going to get it from this function. So I've got a p, point P, so we're going to have x, y. But x and y are going to be our x2 and y2. But y is going to actually be the square root of x. So we're going to leave these symbolic. So now we're going to substitute into the distance formula. And now I'm writing this distance in function notation. So this is distance as a function of x equals. And we're now going to follow the distance formula. So x2 is going to be the variable x, minus x1, which we've labeled our first point here, so that's x minus 2 squared, then plus, parenthesis, y2, which is going to be the square root of x, minus y1, which is 0. So we'll go ahead and put it in. We wouldn't have to actually put it in. So that's our function. Now the book probably wants us to simplify, so we'll go ahead and do that. So I'm going to expand this binomial the quick and easy way. First term squared, multiply the two terms together, so that would be negative 2 times x is negative 2x, and then double that, so that'd be minus 4x plus the last term squared. Negative 2 squared is positive 4. And here the square root of x squared is x. And I can collect like terms, so I'm going to get x squared minus 3x plus 4. Now, we can't take anything out from under the square root because there's addition and subtraction going on in here, and this is not a binomial squared, so we can't do any further simplification. So I'm going to go ahead and put my answer in. So the square root of x squared, break out of the exponent, minus 3x, shift plus 4, and check the answer. So it liked that. So now it asks a follow-up question. Use a graphing utility to graph d of x. For what values of x is d smallest? So I'll go to the calculator, start a new problem, doc, insert, problem, and I want a graph page. So I'm going to go square root of x squared minus 3x plus 4. Now, if this is the square root of x squared, forgetting the other stuff, overall, the end behavior of this graph will pretty much look like the absolute value. Then there'll be a little curve in the middle that's somewhat interesting, but overall, this should look like the absolute value function if zoomed way out. So I'm going to hit enter, and sure enough, at the far edges, as x approaches negative infinity or infinity, we're approaching absolute value of x, but in the middle, we have a curved portion that's somewhat interesting. To find the minimum, I'm going to go to Menu, Analyze Graph, which is choice 6, so I'm just going to hit 6. And I want the minimum, so that's choice 2 in that menu. Now the calculator asks me some questions. Lower bound, so I'm going to click that vertical line below the minimum, click it above the minimum, and we see 1.5, aka 3 halves. So I'm going to go back to the book and put in, it says round to 1 decimal place, so we'll give it the decimal. So 1.5, check answer, and we did good. And that will conclude the first video.